Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to Queen Ahmadiyyah TV presents Beyond the Third, More Than Meets the Third Eye. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Everyone, please go ahead and like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And thank you all for tuning in. Okay, so let's get into it. So I have prepared a PowerPoint presentation. We're going to talk about the power of words. Now, later on today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard, before I do my daily vitamin, I'm going to be doing another presentation on this channel, and it is the power of I am should compel you. So make sure you tune into that also, because you don't want to miss your spiritual vitamins. Okay? Brandon says, love this channel. Love them all, but I definitely love this one. Thank you, beloved. Brother Sly says, you are stunning in those colors. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Conscious Outlaw is black. All right, let's get into it, people. I'm going to share my screen so you all can view this PowerPoint. Okay, the power of words. Let's talk about it, people. Perception. Now, you know I always tell you all that perception is reality. Okay, sometimes things are not always what they seem, but they're merely how someone views them for themselves. Now, the words you use, whether verbally or in writing, can influence how others perceive you. They factor into the decisions people will make about you. They can build or destroy your relationships. That's very important to note because, for example, some people go to work and they may have a boss that nags them or, micromanages them, gets on their nerves, but they won't say anything negative to the boss because, hey, that's your boss. That's your means of, revenue. That's how you get your money. So you mind what you say, right? You're very careful about how you speak and the way you behave. But when you go home, the people that you love more so than anyone, oftentimes we talk to them real crazy. Sometimes we argue and we say things that we really don't mean, but we don't refrain ourselves from saying them. But we know that we can do this because you do it at work, right? So a lot of times people say something nasty to you and they say, oh, well, you made me say it, or oh, you provoked me, or whatever. But people are in control of whatever they say, whatever comes out of your mouth, because you know not to talk crazy to the police. You know not to talk crazy to your boss. You know not to do certain things. So when you blurt out of your mouth and say something mean, demeaning, hateful, or whatever to someone that you love, you have control over that. And that's what we need to watch, because we should treat the people that we love. We should speak to them just as carefully as we speak to our boss or a police officer or anyone else. You want to show them the same amount of respect. Don't just let anything fly out of your mouth, because words can build or destroy your relationships. You can destroy relationships with your spouse, your mate, your children, anyone, just by the things that you say. Emotions. Now, no one can deny the remarkable power of words. Words can be of many sources and forms and signify different feelings and emotions, such as happiness, inspiration, fear, shame, disgrace, gratitude, sadness, offense, disrespect, and pain. Furthermore, many people are affected by posts, tweets, talks, lectures, sayings, and books that they read. So words are very important, because you can say something pleasant and get someone off to a good day. You can enlighten someone, make someone feel good about themselves. You can also say something negative and make someone feel down, make someone have low self-esteem, make someone feel bad about a situation they're already going through. You can make them feel worse, or you can make them feel better. So words are very powerful. So be careful how you use them. You should always make sure that you think before you speak. Within the words we speak is an emotional potency. Words influence others and build relationships at work and personally. They can tear down relationships. Simply put, language holds massive, colossal power to manifest change, whether it's good or bad. And how you use your words and choose your words is completely up to you. Now, words are more powerful than actions. As I told you, a lot of people say actions speak louder than words. I don't agree with that. I actually think that words speak louder than actions. And the reason I say that is because someone can say something to you when you're a child, for example, and you will carry that on into adulthood. Those words can scar you for life. Those words can give you low self-esteem. Those words can make you, feel bad about yourself, right? They can hurt your heart. Now, someone can do something to you, and though that may hurt, it won't hurt as long, or the pain won't last as long as words uttered from someone's mouth. Okay? You can say something to a person that you can never take back. You can apologize for it, but the damage is already done. The hateful things that we say, those impact people. And that's why we should always think about the things that we say and ask yourself, do I really want to say this? And even when we speak negatively to ourselves, you speak to yourself more so than anybody. So when you're saying negative things about yourself, those things can impact your life, because whatever you thinketh, that's what you become. In the Bible, it says, whatsoever man thinketh, that so is he. So that all being said, you should always make sure you're saying positive things, not only to your children, but to yourself, to your mate, to the people that you love, and be mindful of what you say. And I absolutely do believe that words speak louder than actions, because actions, those things may not last a lifetime. The pain will go away. If you spank a child, that pain will go away. But if you say mean things to that child, oh, you're so stupid. Oh, you're just like your no good father. Oh, I hate you. Oh, you get on my nerves. You're so worrisome. Saying things like that, you're ugly. You're too fat. Those things can scar people emotionally and mentally for life. Now, inspiring talks, offenses, and words of flattery, for instance, are more likely to be stored in the long-term memory. Now, think about an argument that you had, an inspiring TED talk that you may have seen, or words that someone has used to flatter you. You may notice that all or almost or most of these words are clear rather than vague in your mind. This is not to mention the comic phrases from movies or sayings, or from studies that have proven, studies have proven that they tend to settle more into your memory. Furthermore, self-talk is one of the most potent and risky uses of words, and this is for many reasons. Self-talk is like a ladder. It can either lift you up or it can devastate you. It can bring you down. What you tell yourself determines how you deal with things in your daily life, or maybe your entire life, how your whole life will go. It dictates the narrative of your life, the things that you say. If you're saying, oh, I'm broke, oh, I'm ugly, oh, I'm too fat, oh, I'm not worthy, oh, I'm stupid, oh, I always make bad decisions. If you say all of those things about yourself, you'll absolutely do and be all of those things. And remember, when you say I am, whatever you say after that is exactly what you become. And we're going to be talking about I am later on today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't make sure you don't miss out on that. Actually, monitoring your self-talk can be a form of therapy. Okay? Pay attention to what you're saying and thinking about yourself. Even if you have negative things about yourself, because we all have, things about ourselves that we don't like. Try to work on improving those things. But at the same time, don't dwell on them and look into the negative. Try to think positive. If you try hard enough, I'm sure you can find something positive, even in negative things. Influence. Since words are powerful in their various forms, they could be used for our disadvantage or our advantage. Now think about how many speakers have influenced others just by their use of words. For example, Helen Keller. Now you remember Helen Keller was blind, right? But she's an American author, and she's a role model because of her wise words and her inspirational writings. Think about the power of words in convincing others. This power should not be taken for granted and should be used for our own advantage and to that of others. Say something nice. Just, you know, say something to make someone feel good about themselves. If you know someone's feeling down, try to give them some inspiration, motivate and encourage them. Don't be one of those haters who see somebody going through something tough and you sit there and say all kinds of pessimistic things just to make them feel bad. I had a friend like that once. If I was going through something and I told her about it, she'd always say something that made me feel 10 times worse than I initially did, rather than saying something to encourage me or make me feel, at least think that things are going to get better. Those people are psyche vampires, and please stay away from them. You cannot live a positive life surrounding yourself with negativity and negative people. Opinion, not fact. Brother Sly says, seeing people happy makes me happy. Absolutely. I do. I feel the same way. Now, the only benefit of feedback is if it illuminates weaknesses or strengths, right? That you suspected but hadn't realized. You always have the option to disagree with criticism. Now, there's some people who will criticize you because they're giving you tough love. They want to see you do better and be better. They're telling you things, you know, to make your outcome better than it already is. Terry says, as a Pisces, I try to always have a positive aura and energy. Absolutely, Terry. Now, some people say things that are negative and they criticize you just because they're haters. Just because they don't want to see you doing good. Just because they want to see you fail. Just because they're afraid that you're going to do something better than they're doing. Just because they're afraid that you're going to leave them behind as you move forward and evolve. Right? Don't argue. Now, I noticed that when people engage in trolling online, they do so to disrupt the conversation. As I told you numerous of times, people, when you see trolls in the chat saying stupid things, you know, and just being disrespectful, don't go back and forth with them. Do not entertain them. They serve a purpose. And that purpose that they're serving is to cause seeds of discord and to sit there and just cause a distraction because they don't want you to focus on the topic that's being discussed. Pay attention to how racist trolls get in the chat when we're talking about police brutality or we're talking about wannabe white supremacy or some things that people are doing or saying against black people or whatever. And then they get in there and they start saying all these dumb things just to throw us off track, just so you're not focusing on the big picture, just trying to disrupt. You know, this is what they do, right? So I noticed that when people engage in trolling online, they do so to disrupt the conversation. The speakers usually respond by removing them from the chat. Now, I myself sometimes go in on the troll just for kicks. I absolutely do, because I know you all find it entertaining, right? And I'm trying to lighten the mood and keep you all engaged. So I go in on these trolls, right? Just to let the trolls know I'm not the one. The queen is not here for it, and I just roast them. That's what I do. But I tell my subscribers not to go back and forth with them. This only aids in the distraction. You'll look more secure and confident if you can simply redirect and brush aside the criticism than if you were to engage them. Right? Because once you engage the troll, they think they've got you. They think that they have struck a nerve. You know, they think that they've pushed your buttons. Brandon says, before anything was created, there was the word. I understand that it is called it is called the you and I universe for a reason. We speak and the universe has to conform. Absolutely, Brandon. Wonderful words. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution. Peace, love, and blessings to you. That was well said. Now, remember this for future references. There will be people who show a different face to the public than they do when they're individually, right? When they're just talking to you in private. Now, you can't control their words or even hope to change their approach to you. All you can do is control how you react. Remember that you are strong, you are capable, you are of value. And don't let someone else take you out of your comfort zone, and don't let someone else dictate the narrative of your life or of your day by saying something to get you upset, right? Don't engage negativity because energy, as I've told you many times, is contagious. Energy is contagious. So when someone is being negative, don't even engage them. There's no need to argue. There's no need to go back and forth. And as my grandmother always taught me, when you argue with a fool, someone simply passing by may not know the difference. Okay? Let's get the lights up, family. Let's get the lights up. Please like and share the video. Own up to your words. Now, the power of words is immeasurable. If you find that you have said something that has hurt or undermined another person, just own it. Apologize. Recognize the hurt that you have caused. Make amends and then move on. Now, we all make mistakes. We all have said or done something that we regret, but that doesn't have to define us. If you know you've hurt the ones you love, especially your children, your husband, your wife, your mates, your mother, grandmother, someone that you care dearly about, always own up to it. Admit that you were wrong. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. We all are wrong at some times. We all say things we don't mean. Just own up to it and ask their forgiveness and explain that you didn't mean what you said. You can always counter something you did negatively with something positive. The worst thing you can do is when you say something to hurt someone is to not deny accountability, to blame the person that you hurt for the words that you said. No one put a gun to your head. You said that out of your own mouth. That's why when we're reckless with our words, we should absolutely own up to it. Now, words are singularly the most powerful force within humanity, right? Very powerful force available to humanity. We can choose to use this force constructively with words of encouragement or destructively using words of despair. Words have energy and power with the ability to help, to heal, to hinder, to hurt, to harm, to humiliate, and to humble. And that is a quote by Yehuda Berg. Stop. Take a breath. Think before you speak and think before you react. That's how you get yourself in trouble. Just running off at the mouth, not even thinking about the consequences of what you say or what you do even. Make sure you think before you speak. You don't want to say something that could permanently damage a relationship that you actually cared about. Sticks and stones. Now, we've all heard the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. And many of us know that that saying is absolutely not true. In fact, it's far from true. Words, whether spoken or written, have immense power. Now, this is true for anyone, but especially for educators like myself. When our words communicate respect, kindness, and encouragement, we impart confidence and love. Although the effect of our words, whether written or spoken, may not be readily seen, it is there. And that puts a tremendous responsibility on our shoulders. That's why I always choose my words carefully. Sometimes people annoy me, right? Sometimes I feel like people weren't listening, and so they have to keep asking me the same thing over, and I have to repeat myself. And sometimes I get annoyed. But at the end of the day, I choose my words carefully because I don't want to make anyone feel humiliated, belittled. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings just because they simply didn't understand something for whatever reason. So I always take time out and listen and speak to people with kind words when I'm trying to educate and enlighten them. Because if you talk to someone crazy, they don't want to hear what you're saying. You can't talk to a person crazy and then double back and try to enlighten them. They're not going to be receptive. When grading papers or commenting on journal entries, conferring with students, or talking with them about their lives, we must choose our words carefully. We may never know the influence that we have. Okay. Now, I had a professor one time who was always, saying nasty things to the students, who was always putting nasty comments on people's papers and things like that. And I felt like she was very pessimistic. She never encouraged and motivated her students. She actually discouraged many of them. I wasn't one because I know who I am. But at the end of the day, I had seen her multiple times on numerous occasions just say negative things to people and put all kinds of BS on their papers, rather than sitting down and talking to them and explaining to them what they did wrong and telling them how they could improve the situation. You know what I told her one day after class when she wanted to talk to me? I told her that a professor and a teacher are only as good as the worst students. If you want to talk crazy to people and make people feel bad about themselves and destroy their self-esteem, and then these people fail your class, that's because you didn't give them what they needed to pass in the first place. You didn't encourage, motivate, or inspire them. So that says more about you than it says about them. I always try to give people positive affirmations. And even if it's something negative, if they made a bad grade or whatever, I always try to encourage them so they can do better for the next time. Magic words. Words are magical. Words are magical, and they're a force so powerful that they can heal the deepest of wounds, or with a single blow, they can destroy something. Now, a study that was conducted in 2003 found that the average woman speaks 20,000 words a day. Men, who tend to use less, the study showed that they spoke about 7,000 words. Now, that's a lot of words, right? Which got me to thinking about what we say and how we say it, but not just to others, to ourselves. Think about what you say about yourself and what you say to yourself when you're talking to yourself. When you wake up in the morning, you should always say a positive affirmation about yourself. Remember, I told you about the power of I am, and whatever you say after it manifests. So wake up and say positive things about yourself to get your day started on the right track. Affirmations. You are the person you speak to most on a daily basis. The way in which you speak to yourself has just as much power as the way you speak to others. This is my opinion. Now, have you ever stopped to think about how you talk to yourself? If so, what kind of things do you say? Now, you don't have to answer to us, but ask yourself, what kind of things do I say to myself? Right? And think about it. Do you say negative things? Do you reaffirm positive things that have happened? Or do you just sit there and worry and say pessimistic things and think about all the negative things going on in your life? Alex says people tend to willfully conflate being honest and realistic with being negative. That is true. That is absolutely true. And sometimes realistically things are negative, but if you look at the negative thing as though it can never get better, you're only going to make it worse. And if you sit there and worry about the negativity rather than trying to find a solution, it will stay in the negative. You can turn things around. The power is up to you. We have a propensity to speak to ourselves in a negative manner. Oddly, this is one of the brain's most primitive responses. It is a caution to stop us from doing things that are dangerous. These days, however, the same instinct and fear reaction that would stop us from going too close to a saber-toothed tiger can also stop us from pursuing goals, dreams, and ambitions out of fear. Now, I can't versus I won't. Remember, I told you the quote from Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're absolutely right. So if you think you can do something and you focus on that and believe it, you'll be able to do it. If you think you can't do something and you focus on that and believe it, you won't be able to do it. Now let's think about the phrase I can't. How many times have you said that? How many times have you said that I can't? I can't do this. Now, that's a personal go-to of mine, right? What if instead of saying I can't, we just simply started saying I won't? I won't do this. That puts the power back into my own hands. So I can't, that comes from fear. I can't do this. I can't complete this task or whatever. That's like saying basically you're fearful. You don't believe in yourself. It's a simple and subtle change, but immensely powerful. Don't say I can't, just say I won't, okay? If you don't want to do something, just say you don't want to do it. Don't say that you can't. Shifting your language from a place of fear, as Susan Jeffers says pain allows you to gain control of your narrative. It no longer controls you. You are then in control of it. Words have power and they have meaning. They can make or break you emotionally. It's important to remember that you have power of the words that you use when you speak to yourself. Be mindful of when they come from a place of fear, that you can change that into power, or that you can regain that power. There is no need to give that power away. Remember what I always quote, and I always tell you, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Now, when a negative word is used, it causes a negative reaction in the body, resulting in a range of chemical reactions in the brain, which triggers a response. Constant repetition of negative words will only instill fear in our mind that we are failures, that we're worthless or stupid. gradually we begin to believe this. So you don't want to make yourself believe negative things, right? That's what you don't want to do. You want to give yourself positive affirmations. You want to speak positivity into your life and about yourself and over your loved ones, especially your children. You want to say positive things that enlighten and encourage and motivate and inspire people, right? Yes, I remember things that were said to me as a child. I remember it all, the good and the bad. Be careful with those words. Absolutely, Chelsea. Very good point. Ren says, yes, fight that fear. We should always be confident. Absolutely. Blackfoot says, Queen, I need to point my brother in the direction of your channel because he really needs to hear this video and information. He has a lot of negative energy in him. Let me tell you something, Blackfoot. Absolutely. Send him the link to this video. Send him this video. Because here's the thing. People who are pessimistic, they never reach their goals. They never, move forward in life. They don't evolve because they're too afraid, too doubtful, too low vibrational. All of those things hinder growth, spiritual growth, mental growth, and all of that. So if your brother is being negative all the time, you absolutely should say something to encourage him, try to inspire him in some way. Sit down and have a talk with him. And yes, share some of the videos on this channel. Hopefully he'll find them of use. Okay? Blackfoot says, I will make sure I send him the link, my sister. Thank you, beloved. Okay? So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning back in. Sally D says, this was a very important PowerPoint that I needed for the day. Thank you, beloved. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Ronnie says, stay away from negative people. Absolutely. You have to feed them with a long-handled spoon. Okay? Terry says, this is a really good lesson. Thank you, beloved. So listen, as I said, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this broadcast. I'm going to the gym. And so with that all being said, listen, don't forget that your health is your wealth. Never put money as a priority before your well-being. All right? Spiritual and physical. Because your health is your wealth. With that all being said, I hope that you all have a beautiful and pleasant day. Don't forget to tune back in at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for your next spiritual vitamin. And we're going to be talking about the power of I am and how it should compel you. So also don't forget your daily vitamin starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until next time, family, I wish you all love, peace, and prosperity. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your life. Peace.